Hello world, Absheni, Inhlikani, Riperili. Depending on the time at which you are going to watch this video, one of those three will be applicable to you. I am back. I know it's been long, and hopefully I'll do a video where I'll be explaining where have I been. In this month of August, I have decided to do a series I called 9Cubed. In honor and celebration of the Women's Day in South Africa, which is on the 9th of August, I will be having 9 chats or interviews with 9 inspiring women who are in the STEM fields in South Africa. And each chat or interview will last for about an average of 9 minutes. So that's where the 9Cubed come from. So the first interview that I had the privilege to have was with Khanyisa Makhubele. So let's go and check it out. Khanyisa Makhubele.
Thomas Mkhakazi wa Mkhenyana wa Yiwani, Yiwani wa Majeringani wa Dzubramjek wa Bones. Nishipitsi shakupinza usiku batasala bashibona nziganza kanye. Nimarinza nhlanga yawulela. Loko nukumhlanga wethu ukumugwena. Mhlanga wethu.
Gwena.
Mhlanga wethu.
Gwena.
That is why.
Absheni Inhlikani, Riperili, welcome everyone. And at last I have the phenomenal Khanyisa Makhubele. Thank you so much for making time to chat to the world.
Thank you so much for having me.
Perhaps for those who have been living under the rock,
yes.
Can you briefly tell us who Khanyisa Makhubele is?
So, Mitarame Khanyisa, as you briefly mentioned, Niwaka Makhubele, and I come from a tropical garden town in the center of Basket Hills, in the beautiful province of Limpopo. So the town I come from is more commonly known as Zeni.
But just to put it on record, my maternal grandmother's maiden surname is Makhubele. So
we're related.
Yeah, definitely related. And you are now in your final year of medicine. How has that been?
It has been very eventful. There's been a lot of highs and a lot of lows as well, but I am truly grateful for the journey. Yeah, I'm excited to be coming to the end.
Do you remember a time or a moment or any event that inspired you to pursue your career in medicine?
So, for me specifically, my journey into medicine is not the usual. I've always wanted to be a doctor. I've always known I want to be a doctor. It's a bit different.
Yeah.
So, in my entire primary school years and most of my high school career, I wanted to become a journalist.
Oh.
And then I spoke to a journalist at some point, and then I realized, no, actually, that's not what I want to do. Yeah. So I did my research, and when I was deciding on a career, there were 3 things I was looking for. So firstly, I was looking to work with people, because I love working with people.
Yes.
Secondly, I was looking to work in anything that is science related. And thirdly, I was looking for a relatively well-paid job. So medicine made the most sense. So in grade 11, I decided, okay, actually, let me become a doctor.
But here you are. You're also a YouTuber as well.
Yes.
So somehow more in that sphere of journalism to some extent.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So it helps. So for those who haven't had an opportunity to subscribe, and they have to subscribe to your YouTube channel. Please, can you tell us a bit about what your YouTube channel is about? And, I'll definitely link the YouTube channel on the description of this video.
Thank you. So my YouTube channel is called Khanyisa Makhubele, that's just my name. And as I mentioned, so when I was doing my research and when I was still in high school, I had so much access to people who are in university already.
Yes.
So even when I was coming into university, I kind of knew what to expect. Obviously, I didn't necessarily experience what I thought I would, but then I had an idea of what I was getting myself into. So the reason why I have my YouTube channel, so it's about my life in medical school, and I give tips to high school learners. I want to give other learners who won't necessarily have access to someone in university. I want to share my experience with them and make sure that when they decide to get into medicine, they know what they're getting themselves themselves into. So when they decide to come to UCT, they know this is what happens at UCT, this is what UCT is about. So it's essentially for all the learners that are out there who are wanting to come into this university.
Yes, I really hope you heard that, and you will really consider subscribing and forwarding the link to anyone you think will benefit by being part of a YouTube channel. You are in the what we call STEM fields, right? Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And in your case, it's the science, the health sciences. What have you enjoyed the most as a woman in these health sciences? And if you were to pick up perhaps one challenge that you think you face as a woman in the STEM field, and what we could possibly do as the world to encourage more women to come into the STEM field, what would it be? So first, what have you enjoyed the most? And lastly, perhaps a challenge that is still out there for women to advance and come into the STEM field.
I'm going to start off with the challenge that I feel like I've experienced.
Yes.
So I think as a woman in this field, I'm always constantly having to prove myself. So when I walk into the hospital, especially when I'm interacting with patients, the first thing they think of is not necessarily to say, oh, this is an excellent doctor, I am in safe hands. It's always a matter of I have to first excel, and thereafter they can say, okay, you're not so bad. So I think that's the challenge that I've experienced. And the most amazing thing that I've experienced is linked to that challenge specifically, having to constantly break those barriers and say, actually, I can be good at this as well. It's always a good feeling to say, I can pass this exam as well. I can diagnose this condition as well. So it always comes with a really great feeling to say, okay, even though people thought maybe I couldn't do it, I actually can.
And I mean, just on that, very interesting. I've not been to hospitals many times, right? But I've always had a sense that maybe because I'm a guy,
Okay.
if a female doctor walks into the room, I don't know, there is the feeling of a mother, there is more care. So, but because you are saying that patients will feel like you need to prove first, then they can trust you.
It does seem like it can be like that, but in all honesty, it isn't. I've found a lot of situations where I've had an experience where a patient asked to speak to a male colleague of mine because they felt like I wasn't capable of doing the job. So then in that sort of circumstance, it's very difficult to be treating that patient because it's a matter of they already think I'm incapable of doing it. They don't feel safe around me. And as a doctor, I want the patients to feel safe around me. So it becomes very tricky. Some patients are very glad to have a woman treat them, but then in some cases it's always, can I be treated by that other doctor or something like that. They won't explicitly say it, but you can see it also in the interaction that this person is not feeling safe.
And what have you enjoyed the most about being in health sciences?
What I've enjoyed the most about being in health sciences is working with people. I know I've spoken about how sometimes I'm being undermined, but working with people is an absolute privilege, and they allow us into their lives, they allow us into their vulnerabilities, and I think being trusted with so much has been such a great opportunity for me, and I enjoy that a lot.
But I wanted to know, what are your aspirations? I know, yes, you are in the health sciences, you will soon be Dr. Makhubele. 6 months.
4 months, actually. 4 months.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's very soon. That's very soon. But what are your aspirations? And especially, what would you love to see women in health sciences do? Yes.
So, my aspirations, not only for myself, but for every woman in the health sciences field. I know it's going to sound very cheesy, and it is a lyric from one of Beyonce's songs, but my aspiration in life is to be happy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm always aiming for, that's what I'm always striving for. But then it becomes difficult to work towards happiness if you're trying to maybe change the situation at home. So the decisions that you're making is not necessarily to say this is a decision that is going to make me happy, but it's more, this is a decision that I can take so that I can support my family, this is a decision that I need to take so that I can do this, do that. And I want to see a world in which when women are making decisions, it's always something that will make them happy. And especially in the health sciences field, it's always, for women particularly, you're always asked, oh, do you not want to have children? When are you going to get married? Why are you choosing such a long degree? And in all honesty, it's something that I want for myself. I want to have a family. That's one of the things that will bring me happiness. So I want to see a health sciences field where working towards becoming a specialist doesn't stop you from starting that family that you want to start. I want to see a health sciences where every decision that I make for myself is something that will be working towards my happiness.
I mean, now after hearing all of that, and you still have not subscribed to your YouTube channel, what else are you waiting for?
What are you doing?
Now, lastly, I know you have given some advices to especially grade 12 learners in your channel, but I'd just like you to maybe give few of them now to those especially aspiring to be in STEM fields, particularly health sciences, and especially for young girls out there. What would we say if they were to say? Please give us some advice.
Okay, firstly, if you're looking for a more extensive video on advices, do check out my channel. But in summary, 3 things. Number 1, always start from day 1. Whatever you're working towards, if you're in grade 12, if you're in grade 11, if you are starting a new university degree, start from day 1. Don't leave things to the last minute. Immediately they say, good morning, welcome to the physics class, you should be making notes already. Secondly, stay disciplined. That energy that you have on day 1 is the energy that must carry you throughout the year. And I know sometimes we experience things that might make us feel like we're not good enough or make us feel distracted from our schoolwork, but always have that accountability partner that reminds you that, listen, this is the timetable we drew at the beginning of the year to say that every day from 6 p.m. we're going to be studying. I know you're not feeling so great today, but let's try and do it. And most importantly, you need to take care of yourself holistically. So make sure that even when you're in university, you're taking care of your health, you're taking care of your spiritual being, and you're taking care of your academics as well. So don't necessarily only focus on your academics and leave the other aspects of your life behind, because we're more than just academic beings.
That's all that I had to share with you with an interview that I had with Khanyisa Makhubele. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and forwarding the link to anyone you think will benefit by being part of this YouTube channel. Until the next episode of 9Cubed series, from me best, I say thank you. Khanyisa.